Hello and welcome to National Focus. I am Julian Morris. In the headlines, government donates emergency supplies to secondary schools, promise to hurricane-affected fishermen fulfilled, and innovation key to Dominica's sustainable rebuilding efforts. The details of the headline stories and more when we return. Welcome back. The government of Dominica, through the Ministry of Education, has donated emergency supplies to several secondary schools across the island in an effort to strengthen emergency preparedness and student support systems. The handover ceremony brought together government officials, school administrators, teachers and students, with Cabinet Secretary Corinne Prevost and Permanent Secretary within the Ministry of Education, Mr. Robert Gist, also in attendance. Cabinet Secretary Ms. Corinne Prevost says the donations were made to assist with safety and preparedness, emphasizing the value of resilience and collaboration within the education system. She says over 200 first aid kits will be distributed along with 150 fire extinguishers.
As part of our collective bargaining agreement with the Dominica Association of Teachers and the Public Service Union, we would have agreed to enhance our safety protocols at our schools. So today we are in the process of handing over first aid kits and fire extinguishers to our schools. This is going to be done around the island. The Office of the Cabinet Secretary has procured 200 first aid kits and 150 fire extinguishers for distribution to all our schools. That includes our government schools, our government assisted schools and our private schools. This is part of a larger initiative, like I said, to enhance safety.
This initiative reflects government's continued commitment to the safety, well-being and development of students throughout Dominica. One student of the Convent High School expressed gratitude on behalf of the student population, describing the donation as meaningful and timely.
On behalf of the Convent High School and the students and the staff, we are very grateful to have these given to us, as it will be very beneficial in case of an emergency.
The distribution of emergency supplies forms part of broader efforts aimed at improving school preparedness, strengthening institutional support, and ensuring that students are able to learn in safe and secure environments. Minister of State in the Ministry of Agriculture with responsibility for fisheries and the blue economy, Honorable Julian Morris, says government's provision of 10 fishing boats to Lao fishermen costing over $500,000 is a promise made and promise kept. These fishermen lost their boats and livelihoods due to Hurricane Maria in 2017, and government pledged to provide the necessary support.
And if you look towards the back, you can look at the quality of these boats. And it shows you the amount of investment, not only into the asset, but that went into the people, the stakeholders, the boat builders who construct these boats, so that they can be resilient. Each of these boats have special features, such as air pockets. So if they were to sink, unfortunately, that they would still be afloat and the fishers would have, an opportunity to stay alive. So there are many new techniques that were built into these boats, while we retained a lot of the craftsmanship and the skills of the local boat builder. So I would say for the average person who would look at these boats and think they are very simple, the average cost of one of these boats, especially built by Berkeley, is around over $60,000. Okay? And all boats may have the same length, but they may contain different features, and therefore they may vary in price. But overall, these 10 boats today on this site constitutes more than $500,000. So this is very significant, because fishing, as most people would not know, it's not a cheap industry.
Honorable Defoe noted that involvement in the fishing industry can be a costly venture, and therefore government's investment in restoring their livelihoods ought to be appreciated.
It is very capital intensive. So fishers who own their assets, most times the average fisher you would see around you, like Common and many others, their assets may worth sometimes more than $100,000 if you take into consideration their net, their fishing equipment, the boat, the engine. So we have to be mindful of that when we see them plying the trade, and sometimes we feel that the fish is a bit too expensive, but we have to be very mindful of the operational cost these days, which is petrol. Okay, petrol is the number one operational cost in efficient operations, but also we must also be mindful that as time goes on, the cost of manufacturing boats will increase because the main component used for boat construction is also resin, which is a derivative from petroleum. And so even today, these boats may have cost $62,000 to build. If a fisherman were to purchase this exact boat today, it might even be $70,000. So I'm just saying this to give a sheer scope and appreciation for the investment that that the government of Dominica has put into fishers at no cost to these individuals. So it is not like they had an insurance and the boat is kept and they are being rewarded by the insurance. It is a conscious effort by the government to recognize that these individuals play a very important role in our economy, in securing in making sure our food security is secured.
Government's aim is to continue to build resilience in the fisheries sector by strengthening resilience and improving the livelihoods of fisherfolk around the country. Government's final presentation of fishing boats will be done in Scott's Head.
I want to thank the recipients, most importantly for their patience, as I mentioned previously. It has been 7 to 8 years, but they have stuck with us. They have believed in the government that they will deliver. And I just want to say to additional 10 people that do not think your boat is not there, in the following, perhaps next week, we will be in Sufria Scott Z, where we will give the final 10 to make up the entire complement of the number of votes that was approved under the project and the number of votes that was approved by the government of Dominica.
Innovation is at the heart of Dominica's thrust to rebuild sustainability following the impact of Hurricane Maria and other weather events. That's according to Minister for the Environment, Honorable Kozia Frederick, who says Dominica understands this rebuilding process as it is a daily engagement.
It appears to me that every generation, every season, every 40 years, our island is hit by a major event. Maria in 2017, Hurricane David in 1978, massive hurricane in 1930, and throughout the history, whenever we make some positive step forward, an event strikes. And we have to pull back, and we have to build, and we have to move forward. So that's why it's important tonight, friends, comrades, that we understand the importance of what we do as an OECS collective. That amid the challenge, we can choose to transform our economies. We can choose not to simply rebuild, but to build back better.
Honorable Frederick says innovation and sustainability must remain central to national development as countries work to build resilience against growing environmental and global challenges.
And so we choose innovation, we choose sustainability, because our investment in resilient infrastructure, renewable energy, ecosystem restoration, food security, disaster preparedness, and sustainable development reflect a national undertaking that the future requires, and also requires with new thinking. And the future definitely for Dominica and for the OECS demands innovation. And innovation, again, is not a new concept. When the first settlers came on this land and they built a canoe, I was reminded by a good friend in the audience here, when they built a canoe to navigate the rough waters of our ocean, that was innovation. When the ancestors struggled to build structures that could withstand strong winds, that was innovation. So this is not new to us.
The Honorable Minister says there are lots of reasons to remain hopeful.
I feel there's hope because there's a new generation of young people who are stepping forward. And when you go around the displays this evening and throughout the rest of the week, you will see young people taking charge. Not blaming a generation before them. They understand that the generation before them had their own issues and their own limitations, but they're using the ideas in their own time to make sure that they can create a better space than what they inherited. And so we need partners in doing all of this. And that's why we have partnership here in terms of the diplomatic corps, in terms of our regional organization, in terms of all our departments of government. Because there has to be a whole of government approach. There has to be a whole of regional approach to dealing with the harshness of climate change.
You are watching National Focus. More when we return. Welcome back. Director General of the OECS, Dr. Didicus Jules, says small island developing states in the Eastern Caribbean must remain proactive and united in responding to rapidly changing global challenges. He made the call while addressing the 13th OECS Environmental Sustainability Exhibition, held under the theme, The OECS Collective Resolve, Innovative Pathways in a High-Risk Global Environment.
These are not merely words on a program. They are a declaration of intent, our shared determination that the small island developing states of the Eastern Caribbean will not be passive observers of a world that is changing faster than our institutions can adapt. Dominica has always been a teacher to the rest of us. This nature isle, home to the world's second largest boiling lake, to rivers that run with uncommon purpose, to forests that have sustained human life for millennia, this island has shown what it means to live in a relationship with the natural world rather than merely upon it. It has also shown what it means to rebuild after devastation and to rebuild with intention. The commitments Dominica has made to become the world's first climate resilient nation are not aspirational language. They are public accountability, and we honor them this evening.
Dr. Jules noted that the exhibition reflects the OECS's Commission's sustained belief that environmental sustainability is not merely a program category, but a civilizational imperative.
Across our member states, communities are asking harder questions. How do we protect our watersheds while growing our economies? How do we reduce our dependence on fossil fuels at a pace commensurate with the urgency of the climate crisis? How do we hold together social cohesion when the risks are unevenly distributed, falling heaviest on those with the fewest resources to adapt? This commission exists precisely to help answer those questions collectively, not singly, but collectively, because our individual capacities are limited, but our collective resolve is formidable.
Dr. Jules also expressed gratitude to the institutional partners whose support continues to make the Commission's work possible.
Environmental sustainability in the OECS is not charity. It is a partnership built on the recognition that what happens in our region matters to the world. To everyone who designed, curated, and prepared this exhibition, thank you. You have translated technical work into the human stories we see displayed on the tables here today. And that is exactly what moves communities to act. Ladies and gentlemen, the walk through this evening is an invitation to see, to ask questions, to live with a sense of both the challenge and the extraordinary ingenuity of our people that are bringing to this table. On behalf of the OECS Commission, welcome. Let us be inspired and encouraged by this exhibition so that we can make a difference regardless of the magnitude of the challenges that persist and confront us.
Meanwhile, Cornelia Gist, Senior Program Officer of IsraAid, kicks off the highlights of this successful exhibition.
We have been working with ECDs, which is the Early Childhood Development. So these, we've created kits, we've done games, we're teaching the young children how to prepare for disasters. So as you can see, we have developed and created, printed manuals for both the students and for teachers. We've also done for some parents. So this is part of our mandate. These are all puzzles that we've created just for early childhood. So we've been working with basically most of the preschools on the island.
The founder of Tasty Treasures, that you all know more of the culinary part of it, but now we have a service line which is Tasty Treasures Heritage Relay, and the Heritage Relay is about collaborating sporting activities with culinary arts.
We Planet Inc. is a non-profit organization in Dominica that is seeking to encourage eco-consciousness and eco-friendliness among the citizens of Dominica. So our whole goal is to encourage you to do better actions for the environment that help to keep Dominica clean and green. So one of the ways we do this is through our app. Now our app is available on Play Store, Apple Store, also as a PWA, which is a progressive web app. And what happens through this app, right? So I'm going to use the brochure a bit to show you more of the app. Through this app, you can do things such as earn rewards.
It's a regional network, and there are a number of chapters starting all the way from Bahamas, flowing all the way down to Guyana. This is the Dominica chapter. So we have an amazing group of young people in Dominica working together to safeguard the environment and to promote sustainable development, because this is really ours to inherit. And we have to preserve what we are going to inherit. So we work with young people.
The exhibition was a reflection of the innovation, resilience, creativity of OECS member states and their regional and international partners. And now your weather update. A high-pressure system is expected to maintain a relatively dry atmosphere over the next 24 hours, with occasionally breezy conditions. Mostly cloudy skies with brief passing showers can be expected across the island. As Saharan dust lingers across the area, individuals with respiratory sensitivities should take precautions to avoid complications. Seas are forecast to be slight to moderate over the next 24 hours, with wave heights near 3 feet along the western coast and 5 feet along the eastern coast. Small craft operators are advised to remain cautious due to possible reductions in visibility. Meanwhile, a tropical wave is expected to begin affecting the islands south of the Lesser Antilles on Saturday. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. Be sure to follow GIS Dominica on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. You can also drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm. From all of us here on the GIS News Production team, I am Julian Morris. Thanks for watching.